I have been a Resident Evil fan since the first time I heard that cracky door sound back in 1996. That's right, I survived the dogs jumping through the windows, I solved every stupid crank puzzle, and I have spent more hours mixing herbs than any sane person should admit. But today I am raking every Resident Evil game, no remakes, no remaster, just the real core entries and main spin-offs. From the absolute mess to absolute masterpiece. Let's get started before Wesker comes back from the dead, again.
You will regret this, my lady. That, I promise.
We started with the most explosive one. Resident Evil 6 tried to be everything at once. Horror, action, shooter, soap opera, you name it. 4 campaigns, explosion everywhere, and a camera that forgot what personal space means. Some people love it for the co-op chaos, and fair enough, but for most fans this is where the series lost its horror souls. Fun sometimes, scary not even close. Now let's go for Resident Evil Revelations. We started with Resident Evil Revelation 2. Episodic format, returning character, some decent scares, but it felt like a budget spin-off. There are cool moments with Barry and his daughter, and the atmosphere is surprisingly solid in parts. But overall, the pacing and story didn't hit as hard. It's a good, not great entry, the kind you played once, enjoy and move on. Resident Evil Revelations. Now this one actually surprised a lot of people back then. A handled Resident Evil game that looked better than some console titles. Yes please, claustrophobic ship setting, decent horror vibe, it felt like a step back toward classic Resident Evil. But still the combat and reputation drag it down. It's good but not quite top tier. Resident Evil 0. Rebecca Chambers and Billy Cohen take the lead in this prequel that nobody really asked for, but everyone play anyway. The visuals were incredible for the time, but the no item box mechanic was pure inventory hell. Great puzzles, but juggling items between 2 characters killed the flow. Still, it has that classical Resident Evil charm, just buried under a mountain of micromanagement. Resident Evil 5 is the definition of fun but not scary. It's co-op chaos at its best and worst. Sure, it gave us punching boulders with Chris Redfield's muscle of mass destruction, but it also threw subtle horror right out the window. It's enjoyable, but feel more like an action game with zombies than a true survival horror. If you play with a friend, it was a blast. Solo, not so much.
No more time for games, Chris. I've got work to do. Have fun watching Jill suffer.
Wait, what did you do to her?
Wait, don't shoot!
Who are you?
Huh? You're not a zombie. Well, great. Wait right there. I'm coming over.
Code Veronica is the cult classic of the series, loved by old school fans, ignored by newer ones. For its time, it was a huge leap in the story and graphics, with a darker tone and real emotion weight. Claire Redfield shines here, and the Ashford twins are delightfully insane. It's just a bit clunky for modern standards. Still, a key piece of Resident Evil history that deserves a full remake someday, and we'll have it. Capcom already confirmed that we'll have Resident Evil Code Veronica remake. Now let's jump for Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Stars. Yeah, you can talk about Resident Evil 3 without yelling that at least once. Nemesis was terrifying, the pacing was faster, and Jill Valentine was her best. Some fans felt it was too short compared to Resident Evil 2, but the constant chase and tension made it unforgettable. Every time I heard heavy footsteps, I still think of Nemesis. Now, let's talk about the top 5. We started with Resident Evil 1 in 1996, the one that started it all. The voice acting horrible, the controls tanking than the Panzer, but the atmosphere absolutely legendary. That mansion, the lighting, the sound, pure survival horror magic. Without this game, there wouldn't be any Resident Evil to rank. It's clunky, sure, but iconic forever. This Resident Evil is very special to me, because I remember quite well this was the first game I ever played on my PlayStation 1, and by the time when I bought my PlayStation 1, this game was on my top list.
Barry? Barry? You're alive!
Resident Evil Village. Village is like a weird dream combining Resident Evil 4 action with Resident Evil 7, a first-person horror. It's gothic, creepy, and completely over the top in the all right ways. Lady Dimitrescu became an internet phenomenon before most people even touched the game.
To hell with the ceremony! That man will pay for what he's done.
It's not the scariest, but is one of the most entertaining and creative in the series. And the Shadow of Rose DLC adds emotional closure that actually hits. Now let's jump for the top 3 of Resident Evil games. We started with Resident Evil 7. When this came out, it saved the franchise. After Resident Evil 6 Michael Bay Explosion Fest, Resident Evil 7 brought the series back to its roots, tiny environments, limited resource, and junior fear. First-person perspective made it even more immersive and horrifying. It's smaller, slower, pure horror, exactly what Resident Evil needed. This was Capcom saying, yeah, we still got it. Resident Evil 2. This is where Resident Evil went from good to legendary. 2 campaigns, amazing pacing, iconic characters, Leon and Claire's debut is still a masterclass in survival horror. It's perfect what Resident Evil 1 started. Better visual, smarter puzzles, and an atmosphere that just won't let you relax. For many fans, this is the Resident Evil game, and I can't really argue. Now, the best Resident Evil game and the number 1. No surprise here, Resident Evil 4 changed everything, not just for Resident Evil, but for third-person shooters as whole. Over-the-shoulder camera, perfect pacing, constant tension, the one-liners from Leon that are still memes today. It's balanced horror and action perfectly. And every area felt like its own mini nightmare. Simply put, this isn't just the best Resident Evil game, it's one of the best games ever made. End of story. From fixed camera and tank and control to first-person horror, this franchise has reinvented itself more times than Wesker has come back to life. But I want to know your list, which one scared you the most, which one made you rage quick, and which one you still replay every year just to relive the magic. Drop in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, it's danger to go alone, unless you have got a shotgun and 3 green herbs.